Benito Mussolini, a name that echoes through history as the embodiment of dictatorship, rose from humble beginnings to shape the fate of Italy and the world. Born in Predappio, Italy in the year 1883, young Benito was the son of a blacksmith and a schoolteacher. His father, a fervent socialist, instilled in him a fiery passion for social justice and equality. His mother, a dedicated educator, nurtured his intellect, fostering his curiosity and love for learning. From these early influences, Mussolini developed a keen interest in politics, particularly socialism. In his late teens, Mussolini left his small town for the broader horizons of Switzerland, seeking work and a fresh perspective. Here, he became deeply involved with labor unions, advocating for workers' rights and social reform. It was during this time that Mussolini honed his skills as an eloquent orator and a persuasive political organizer, traits that would later prove instrumental in his rise to power. But it was upon his return to Italy that Mussolini's political ideology underwent a significant transformation. The chaos and disillusionment following World War I had left the nation fractured and discontented. Mussolini saw an opportunity amidst this turmoil. He distanced himself from socialism, embracing instead the idea of nationalism. He believed that Italy could regain its former glory through unity and strength, rather than division and class struggle. In 1919, Mussolini founded the National Fascist Party. The party's ideology, a blend of nationalism, militarism, and corporatism, struck a chord with many Italians who were desperate for stability and direction. Mussolini's charismatic leadership and compelling rhetoric quickly gained him a substantial following. The rising tide of fascism was now set in motion, and Mussolini was at its helm. Thus, from a small town in Italy to the forefront of political upheaval, Mussolini began his journey towards leadership, setting the stage for a new era of Italian history. By 1922, Mussolini had effectively seized power, marking the beginning of a 21-year reign characterized by brutal dictatorship and sweeping reforms. The March on Rome, a momentous event in October 1922, was the dramatic demonstration of power that led to Mussolini's appointment as Prime Minister. With the support of the Black Shirts, his paramilitary force, Mussolini was able to present himself as the only man who could restore order in a nation gripped by social unrest. Once in power, Mussolini moved swiftly to dismantle the democratic institutions of Italy. The transformation was gradual but methodical. He replaced elected officials with his loyal followers, curtailed the freedom of the press, and suppressed any political opposition. By 1925, the Italian state was under the complete control of Mussolini's fascist party, marking the end of democracy and the establishment of a one-party rule. But Mussolini's reign was not solely characterized by oppression. He implemented a series of policies that brought significant changes to Italy. One of his key initiatives was a vast public works program aimed at modernizing the country. Roads, bridges, schools and hospitals were built across Italy, creating jobs and improving infrastructure. In terms of foreign policy, Mussolini adopted an aggressive stance. He envisioned a new Roman Empire, and to achieve this dream, he initiated several military campaigns, most notably in Ethiopia and Libya. This belligerent approach further consolidated his power at home, but also isolated Italy on the international stage. Centralization of power was another hallmark of Mussolini's rule. He held multiple roles in government, from Prime Minister to Minister of Foreign Affairs, and even Minister of the Interior. This allowed him to control all aspects of the government, ensuring his policies were implemented without opposition. Mussolini's rule, marked by an iron fist and a charismatic persona, had a profound impact on Italy, shaping its destiny in ways that still resonate today. His reign was a turbulent era of Italian history, a time of drastic changes and enduring consequences. However, like all despots, Mussolini's reign was not to last forever. The winds of war and the tide of public opinion would eventually lead to his downfall. As the 40s dawned, the world plunged into the abyss of World War II. Mussolini, swayed by the promise of shared power, cast his lot with Adolf Hitler's Nazi Germany. This alliance, however, would prove to be a double-edged sword. On one hand, Mussolini was buoyed by Hitler's might. On the other, Italy found itself drawn into a global conflict that it was ill prepared for. The Italian military, despite its bravado, was not ready for the rigors of war. Failures on the battlefield from Greece to North Africa punctured the myth of Italian invincibility that Mussolini had so carefully cultivated. These military missteps weren't just strategic failures, they were blows to the Italian pride and faith in Il Duce. Back at home, disillusionment began to creep in. The Italian populace, once enamored by Mussolini's charisma and promises of a new Roman Empire, started to question his leadership. The tide of public opinion was turning, and it was turning against Mussolini. In a dramatic turn of events, the Grand Council of Fascism, the very body that had once propelled Mussolini to power, delivered a vote of no confidence in July of 1943. The once invincible dictator was arrested, his reign seemingly over, but his story didn't end there. In a daring operation, German forces swooped in and rescued Mussolini from his mountaintop prison. With Hitler's backing, he set up the Italian Social Republic in northern Italy. But this new state was a shadow of his former regime, a puppet government under the thumb of Nazi Germany. Trapped between the advancing Allied forces and a disillusioned populace, Mussolini's downfall was inevitable. His reign, marked by ambition and ruthlessness, was crumbling. The end was near, and there was no escape from the storm that was about to hit. The winds of change were blowing, and they were blowing against Mussolini. In 1945, Mussolini met a violent end, but his legacy continues to influence Italy and the world. The demise of Benito Mussolini was as dramatic as his rise to power. On a spring day in April, he was captured and executed by Italian partisans. His body, along with that of his mistress, was hung upside down in a public square in Milan, a grisly spectacle that marked the end of his 20-year reign as Il Duce. But the echoes of Mussolini's rule didn't fade with his death. In the wake of World War II, Italy found itself grappling with the remnants of his fascist regime. The post-war period saw the emergence of neo-fascist groups, some of which continued to venerate Mussolini as a national hero. These groups, while marginal, are a testament to the lasting influence of Mussolini's ideology. But Mussolini's legacy extends beyond the borders of Italy. His policies and the political machinery he constructed have had a global impact. His brand of fascism, marked by authoritarianism and extreme nationalism, has influenced many political movements around the world. The propaganda techniques he employed, from harnessing mass media to creating a cult of personality, have been replicated by numerous leaders in the decades since his death. Yet, the lessons from Mussolini's rule are not limited to his tactical innovations. His life serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of unchecked power and the dangers of charismatic leadership. It underscores the importance of democratic institutions and the rule of law in safeguarding against the rise of autocrats. And it warns us of the perils of complacency in the face of divisive rhetoric and the politics of fear. From his dramatic rise to his violent end, Mussolini's life is a cautionary tale that continues to resonate in our contemporary world. His legacy, complex and multifaceted, continues to shape political discourse and influence global events. Mussolini's life serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the allure of charismatic leadership. In just over 2 decades, Mussolini went from a local agitator to a national dictator, leaving an indelible mark on Italy and the world. We've traced the trajectory of Benito Mussolini's life, an extraordinary journey that took him from obscurity to the pinnacle of power. Starting out as a fervent socialist, Mussolini's early years were marked by his radical beliefs and fiery rhetoric, but his ambitions took him down a different path, one that led to the creation of a new political ideology: fascism. Making his way through the tumultuous landscape of post-World War I Italy, he capitalized on the discontent and disorder that pervaded the country. His charisma, coupled with a promise of stability and greatness, propelled him to the helm of the nation. He became Il Duce, the leader, and for 2 decades he ruled Italy with an iron fist. His reign was marked by aggressive foreign policies, stringent social control, and a cult of personality. Mussolini sought to return Italy to its former Roman glory, but the cost of his ambitions was heavy. His alliance with Nazi Germany during World War II proved disastrous, leading to his downfall and the end of fascist Italy. However, even in defeat, Mussolini left behind a legacy that continues to resonate. His authoritarian rule set a precedent for future dictators, and his policies, while deeply flawed, brought about significant changes in Italy. His impact on Italian society, politics, and culture is still discernible today. The life of Mussolini is a testament to the dangerous allure of power and the devastating consequences of unchecked ambition. It serves as a stark reminder of how charismatic leaders can manipulate public sentiment and exploit crises to their advantage. The life and legacy of Benito Mussolini, a man whose rule changed the course of history, continues to serve as a lesson for us all.